Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we are going to look briefly at Ethereum, Chainlink, and Basic Attention Token. This is just a quick video to look at what's happening with the market right now. Earlier today, I believe that just maybe a few hours ago with Ethereum. Yeah, just over an hour ago, Ethereum started to move upwards. We saw a 3.5% move, followed by now, 1.5, making a daily gain of roughly 6%. Following that, all day, Chainlink has been up. Chainlink has had a pretty impressive move. Uh, ever since the early hours of today, we have been trending up, and Chainlink is up 12% against Bitcoin. Note that these are all against valuations of Bitcoin. Basic Attention Token, same thing as Chainlink, in the early hours of the day, has extended 14% against Bitcoin from the lows of about 600 sats going as low as like 597. We see an increased move, and again, fairly impressive. In short, though, is this, I guess, the move that we're all waiting for? Yes and no. When we look at the daily, we see that the last 2 days haven't been so kind to Ethereum. But we tend to forget about earlier this week we saw a cumulative 30% move, 40% move of Ethereum against Bitcoin. Chainlink, the same thing. We did see this move, we got rejected, we came back down. So in all actuality, when we flip it to the weekly, Basic Attention Token and Chainlink are still macro down. This weekly candle has flipped green to red and back to green, and now we see this long wicks to the upside and to the downside with a small candle body, and you can attribute this to some kind of indecision. And that's what I would call all of this. These are all great moves, but we're still in this indecisive phase of the altcoin market. We saw a pump in the earlier this week. It's amazing what can happen in 1 week, but in all actuality, we are not seeing yet, and we won't know until further weeks down the line. I mean, look at Basic Attention Token here. Ever since August, it has been trending downwards, and now we have a 6% gain over the week with Basic Attention Token. Note that I did buy Basic Attention Token earlier this week, or maybe last week. I bought at 680 sats. So I did not buy down here. I should have, but um, I'm not looking to accumulate as aggressively with Basic Attention Token. Um, as I said earlier, the portfolio that I have is I'm quite content with, and something that I'm prepared to run through for the foreseeable future. Chainlink as well. Ever since the peak in August, let's flip it to the weekly. We have been macro down. We have been just trending down, and here we are at an indecisive moment, almost a fork in the road, if you will. Ethereum, Ethereum starting its move. It's to date from last week from the candle body up 21% on the week. From the wick, we are looking at a 37% move up, into the upper wick 50%. We are not still yet at the highs of August for a lot of these altcoins, and that is the target for me. That is what I'm looking for. That within a few weeks' time, this trend reverses, continues, and meets prior all-time highs against the Bitcoin ratio. Chainlink is another, and Basic Attention Token as well. We've talked about Basic Attention Token, how ultimately the target is going to be up here. Naturally, I will be taking profits along the way, but the end goal of what I have in mind with Basic Attention Token is that it comes up to this upper channel here. Uh, Ethereum, I'm looking to come back here, and I'm also looking for it to come and make at least somewhat a closer move to the highs of the upper regions up here. I don't know if we'll get to the very top of it, but my initial hope is that around zero point zero 0.08 Bitcoin to 0.06 Bitcoin is a target for me, at least with the Bitcoin ratio. This is all very exciting. Again, like what we see with Chainlink on the weekly, indecision. And for me, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. On the weekly, Bitcoin's still extremely bullish, extremely bullish. We can attribute today's move of altcoins um, because of Bitcoin's indecisiveness. We see it also on the daily, a flat candle body, something of indecisiveness that we just don't know where it's going to go. And ultimately, we don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. We argue that $50,000 might be the local top. I would say that within 2 weeks' time, we will have that answer. If it does reach $50,000 within 2 weeks' time, I would argue that would be the local top before we see some kind of correction. However, if Bitcoin bleeds, if we see a slow bleed, then I'm pretty confident that altcoins will gain the momentum. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's pull up Ethereum, Bitcoin, and make a new panel. And let's take a look at. Sorry, let me just get my bearings straight first. Let's look at the prior all-time high in 2017. Okay. And I'll flip it back to the day. It took me back here. Okay, sorry folks. I'm just getting situated here to show you what I'm talking about. So this is essentially what I'm talking about here. We saw that when Bitcoin broke its prior all-time high here and continued up, we saw Ethereum also start gaining speed. But it's when Bitcoin started to bleed here. And ultimately, bouncing off of the prior all-time high is when we saw Ethereum really shoot up. And you see it. You see that bleed from Bitcoin. We see Bitcoin going down on the daily, ultimately coming back to the prior all-time high again. But at the same time, Ethereum was gaining all that market share. It was gaining on Bitcoin. And I would argue a correction from Bitcoin is bad. It is bad. But if it's a slow bleed of 5%, it's 3.5%, this is 6%, this was 6%, these red candles were 6%, 8%, 9, 10%. Those aren't terrible. It's when we see these giant 30% corrections when we really see it hurt Ethereum in times of bullishness. Because we're bullish on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's so bullish, Ethereum's going to be bullish as well when Bitcoin takes a back seat. If Bitcoin starts to bleed, or the off chance it starts moving sideways from here, even a correction and then moving sideways, Ethereum will start keep up the pace with Bitcoin and outperform it. I mean, with that latter scenario, yeah, Ethereum would probably take a hit initially, but the recovery, Ethereum would start outpacing Bitcoin without a doubt. So that's where we are right here. We're at some sort of indecision crossroads that I really think that Chainlink really shows on the weekly. We've been high as 49,000 and we've been as low as 36,000 satoshis. That's a wide range and we really don't know where we're going to go. I am hoping for a reversal. I've been waiting for a reversal for quite some time for Chainlink, and just because it hasn't come doesn't make me change my perspective on the token. neither is BAT. I mean, basic attention token has been bleeding profusely, but at this level here, I think it's a decent buy, and the risk, the rewards to this are pretty substantial. Buying from here at even 700 Sats gives you 650 roughly percent gain against Bitcoin if this trend continues. And considering how low we are on basic attention token, we're at historical lows. I think it's a pretty good example. Ethereum, Ethereum, I've already have my position ready. I've had it ready for quite some time, and I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for the when Bitcoin takes a back seat and Ethereum starts gaining the momentum as it always has done, as what every altcoin has done uh, in price history. I mean, when we look at the history of altcoins are dead until they're not, and that cycle will continue to repeat until it doesn't. Um, but my bet is that it will continue, at least for this cycle. But again, all eyes are on Bitcoin. We need to know what Bitcoin's going to do in order for altcoins to gain a momentum. I think today's a great example of what an indecisive Bitcoin does. Altcoins are take the lead. I mean, look, Ethereum's at $1,300 now. We're $100 away from the prior all-time high. If Bitcoin starts to bleed here, 3%, 5%, 4%, that's I think that's the best case scenario for altcoins, and that will do a lot of good for Bitcoin in the end. And what do I mean by that? Well, first it'll bring us a little closer to the 20-week moving average. We might even be able to test it, but especially bring this figure of the percentage against on top of the moving average down. We're at 136%. When we seen the peak of 2017, we're at 182, and when in 2019 at the high, not the closing price, because this measures from the closing price, it was over 100%. I think that we are quite overextended, and this figure shows how overextended we are. In order for us to maintain the bull market, I think we need to be, bullish, but not overextended bullish on Bitcoin. Or we might just come down, the 20-week will not hold, and then we enter in a downtime. And that's something that I don't want to see. In addition, if it starts to bleed here, then the RSI is going to reset. We're at 95 on the RSI on the weekly. This needs to come down, I think, in order for another move up. We have failed to see yet another test of the 20-week moving average, and we saw it fairly consistently, um, for longer periods of time during the early cycle of 2017. In the latter half, it was more it was more further apart. I'm hoping that this is the early stages of the cycle and not so much the end is what I'm hoping for. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. Enjoy this day of a $1,300 Ethereum, a $17 Link, and a where's bait? And a 28-cent basic attention token. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.